Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lee D-Man Smith, and I'm back behind the caster desk alongside my duo lane partner, Martin Deficio Lunga. And if you believe that, being a duo lane, that would be a scary, scary thing. Indeed. We are going to be heading into the final stretch of Week 9's games. And that means coming up now, it is Alliance facing off against the Super Hot Crew. And currently, Super Hot Crew, well, they have the edge over Alliance with a 2-1 lead in the head-to-head. But Alliance, well, it climbed up the table, I should say, during Super Week with their perfect performance. Yesterday, they continued that dominance by beating out Gambit and stretching their win streak to 5, led by a flawless Froggen.
And both these teams have the quickest games in the EU LCS. We have Alliance on 39.30 seconds and Super Hot Crew with 38 minutes and 42 seconds. It really shows how good Alliance are at closing out the games and also how aggressive the mid game is from Super Hot Crew. However, Super Hot Crew, they really need to step up their dragon control early on, because Alliance, they have actually been very strong when it comes to objectives, and the team that takes the first dragon has won the matchup every single time these teams actually faced each other. And yesterday's combo by Alliance, with full focus on mobility behind champions like Sivir and Kayle, was fantastic. They played the combo perfectly in every single team fight, and Gambit, they were just punished whenever they decided to split up. As a result, Alliance, they didn't even lose a single team fight.
So, obviously, Alliance, we see them setting up here. What do they need to be cautious of, though, heading into this game?
They need to make sure they're not picking weak early game champions, because as we saw yesterday, the new aggressive Super Hot Crew destroyed Millennium with this early game pick combo they used. And the Alliance here, they are a team who's normally very strong in the laning phase, so they should be prepared for this. And just a highlight to the strong laning phase for Alliance, they have taken 15 first bloods in 21 games.
That's pretty impressive stats. And on the other side, after a disastrous Super Week, Super Hot Crew made changes to their mid lane, bringing in Selfie for Moops. And this looks to have been a great decision after a very bold performance yesterday, showing dominance over Millennium.
Yeah, Selfie, he was playing out of his mind after a bit of a slow and safe start. Then he picked up an early kill onto Curb together with Impaler, and then he just started roaming around, setting up kills everywhere. And the entire Super Hot Crew playstyle changed, and every lane was winning with these very push-heavy early game champions, and everyone even managed to get down the turrets in their own lanes. And the vision control is another thing to highlight, because Super Hot Crew, they picked up a lot of kills onto someone like Aranir simply by warding around his red buff and then going in for the kill every time they spotted him out. The dragon control, again, it was an issue early on. They talked about it themselves, how they needed to fix it, but everything else worked for them, and they really also showed how to play a pick combo. We have to remember, however, they were playing the last team in the EU LCS Millennium, and we need to see them perform against the better teams in the league before we can really see how strong the new playstyle is. And Selfie, of course, he needs to take some of the confidence from yesterday and need to bring it into this game, because he's facing Froggen, who is one of the best mid laners in Europe.
Absolutely, a fantastic mid laner. And coming into this matchup, Super Hot Crew needs to focus on playing as a team to pull out the win. But Alliance, well, they're going to be on the lookout for the hard-hitting bot lane as they try to stop Mr. Rales from gaining an early advantage.
A lot of teams have figured out how to play correctly against Super Hot Crew, and if they don't build an advantage early, it's very hard for them to close out games.
I think Taps is pretty good AD carry. I would say I'm better than him, but the reason why that his team is winning a lot more is because his team is playing like a team, and we are pretty much a solo queue.
They try to play to their strengths because Rales is their star player, so they pick engage heavy supports and tend to camp bot lane a lot to get them rolling.
They're a very good team, but I think they rely too much on one strategy, and that is to snowball their bot lane.
Like Mr. Rales and Mixer is basically carrying with Impaler in every single game.
I think this meta kind of fits Alliance. He's very mid-orientated, and Froggen can show how good he is now. I think he's one of the top mid laners in EU, and with Shook alongside him, like, they should win every 2v2 matchup, provided they have the correct champions.
We have to do something with champions pick mid, so we will have some presence, else it's going to be quite a tough match.
It's always interesting to hear what the players have to say about one another. There's respect there, but there's also a little bit of ego.
I absolutely love the fact that Alliance actually respects the bot lane from Super Hot Crew, but also say that they are the key to actually win, so we might just camp it away all game.
Well, let's check out those starting lineups for our two teams. On the blue side, it is going to be Alliance, and that means it's going to be Wicked in the top lane, Shook in the jungle, Froggen as that mid lane, Tabs as AD carry, and Nif on support.
On the red side, we have Super Hot Crew with Mima in the top lane. We got Impaler in the jungle, the new man Selfie in the mid lane, Mr. Rales as AD carry, and of course Mixer, the support.
So, and of course, that brings us to our featured matchup of the day, which is a battle between an LCS veteran and a rookie. Of course, that means it's Froggen versus Selfie.
Yeah, both these players had very strong games yesterday. We had Froggen, he picked up an early first blood onto Alex, and then he just started roaming around the map, much like actually Selfie did against Millennium yesterday. And coming into this game, Froggen, he has a lot of experience, and he needs to control Selfie and the very aggressive early game from Super Hot Crew, because if he can shut down Selfie, and if then Shook can dominate Impaler, then Alliance will have the game under control, and also be able to control these lanes, and Froggen can then roam from the mid lane down to either top or bot, and then set something up. And Selfie's first game in the EU LCS, it was fantastic. He showed confident plays, and if he can shut down Froggen early on, then he will be able to roam. And then we can actually see what he did yesterday, setting up kills all the time. And I expect to see a lot of action around this mid lane, so it wouldn't even surprise me to see the junglers being in there early, possibly even at level 3.
And it was great to see him walking around the studio yesterday, wide-eyed, big smiles on his face.
A lot of selfies.
He'd won his first game. A lot of selfies were actually happening as well. You may have seen 2 selfies there just a moment ago, so making sure he gets a lot of that screen time.
It's what you need to do after a game like this. You need to show also that you are confident and you believe in yourself, and he really played well.
Well, what do we expect though? Picks and bans are going to be coming right away. We know that Selfie is an assassin-heavy player. We saw him with LeBlanc yesterday. We've heard about, obviously, he loves to play that Yasuo. Froggen himself, he's all about Yasuo as well, along with Karthus. So he thinks he may have a counter to it. So do you think he's going to let it through?
I could actually see Alliance letting Yasuo go through and then go Karthus with Exhaust, which is the counter pick to it, or at least one of the counter picks. It is an option. Or they can just say, we don't want to risk anything. We want to try and get, again, you're out of your comfort zone. Ban it. First pick LeBlanc for Froggen. He's been playing it before. He's been very strong on it. We can also see the likes of course, Lucian. Alliance love to ban this champion. They ban it all the time. And Mr. Rales, of course, he loves to play it. And Super Hot Crew side, the likes of Aurelia wouldn't be surprising to see banned away again. Maybe even Renekton, unless they have a counter pick ready for it. And then, of course, we can see something like a Lulu banned away from Froggen. Maybe even Kale. We saw Kale yesterday from Froggen, how annoying it is to deal with if you play these very aggressive combos.
Well, here we go. Picks and bans underway. We just saw Gambit, obviously, letting a ban go through because they didn't feel there was anything ban-worthy enough. This time around, we'll see whether these teams do it. Lucian has been banned away. As you called it, Alliance been going for that one quite heavily. And Lulu, we just saw Zazas in that top lane running amok on that one. I don't think Wicked would have been doing the same. That's probably not really his game style, but the Lulu ban is still a pretty standard.
Yeah, and if there's a champion who can shut down early aggression, it's Lulu in the mid lane. Such a strong laner, of course, very hard to duel, and you have all the tools to both escape fights, set something up here, so I like the fact that banned away. Don't want to risk anything, and we actually see LeBlanc being banned away against Selfie here. Yasuo is still open, so maybe they want to bait him into it, or maybe Froggen wants to pick it early on himself.
Well, Karthus has been banned away from Alliance a number of times. We'll see whether the Super Hot Crew think about doing the same. Don't forget the junglers as well. Shook's been having an amazing performance, and we heard, of course, Mr. Rales talking about that Froggen and Shook combo in that mid lane. It's a scary 2-man combo that can certainly shut down one of your lanes. And Kale, well, Froggen 938 was it yesterday, 935, something like that. Massive stats for him on that Kale.
And again, notice 2 mid laners, and both mid laners shut down these early dives, early ganks, everything you want to do as an aggressive team like Super Hot Crew with this new lineup. So that's why they banned them away. And of course, you also want to make sure that you target Froggen, so Selfie, he can get a good matchup in there and actually do well in the laning phase, because again, we saw yesterday, Froggen gets a few kills early on, he will start roaming, he will go down to the other lanes and just kill you.
All right, Kha'Zix's ban coming in. Impaler had a great performance on that yesterday, not quite to the level that we've seen from the Koreans, but so far it has been picked up. Now, will we see an Aurelia or a Rise ban? Will they focus Wicked, or will they continue on Froggen?
If they want to focus Wicked, I definitely think they should ban out Aurelia and then pick Rise themselves into Renekton if Alliance decide to pick it. But then here, look for Alliance. Yeah, Evelynn is open, Lee Sin is open, Elise is open. So many jungle choices, but they want this Evelynn. Take it away from Impaler as well, who's not been much of a Elise and Lee Sin player in the past. He's played it a few times, but not with any good level of success. So I like the early pick of Evelynn here, getting the early aggression as well onto Shook.
Is going to give the option to Super Hot Crew. All of the other junglers are out there. What does Impaler fancy? Will they go for it? Will Mime make sure he gets that Renekton in that top lane?
Everything Impaler used to play, Pantheon, Vi, is open. He can just take whatever he wants, even a Wukong if he decides to go with it, if they want to make a combo with Sivir. So there's a lot of jungle choices for him, of course, the Sin Elise as well. So he shouldn't be too worried about this. It's more about the fact what do we want to pick against this top lane, possibly Renekton, and actually we see Rise. Could go mid lane, we saw Gambit play it mid, but if they decide to send it top here, it can be to signal, we don't want you guys to pick Renekton because we have the counter pick here.
Have they been doing their research on Wicked? That's what I wonder, because that's 2 big champions. If you look at his solo queue practice, what he's been playing, We do see Thresh being hovered over though so far for potentially Nif and Aatrox. Wow, that would be an interesting one for Wicked.
Yeah, I don't recall actually seeing Wicked, at least not this season for sure, playing Aatrox. And I like the fact, or well, I actually think he could still go Renekton against this Ryze and just try and take the fight here, because Renekton would still be an okay pick. Yes, you're going to be outscaled, but it's not like you're going to be horribly losing the lane once you get a few levels. Aatrox against Ryze. Ryze should be able to get a lot of good farm, a lot of good poke. Of course, he needs to be careful that he's not getting jumped by Aatrox when Evelynn is there for the gank, but that's pretty much the only thing they can do to shut him down. Otherwise, he's just going to scale so well into the late game from Mimer's side. And actually, the Caitlyn pick, we didn't touch on it yet. Taps, he loves to play Caitlyn. He's so good on it, and make sure they get it early. Again, lane advantage because you have Caitlyn now with the possible likes of a Karma here. You have a lot of poke in the laning phase, and it's the style we saw from Super Hard Crew yesterday. Very strong lanes. Every single one just pushed up to the enemy turret and tried to take it down.
You see the stats for Thresh, one of the most popular supports through the European LCS and the North American LCS, to be fair as well. Elise is the jungler that seems Impaler wants to go with. Had a fantastic performance before. You should look at the previous matchup with Jankos. Jankos went huge on Elise in that game. Still, in 4.3, a very, very strong jungler.
Definitely still one of the absolute best junglers. That's why Super Hard Crew didn't even have to think about the jungler in the first two picks, because Evelynn was already taken away. They could save this Elise one. But again, Impaler, when he's been playing Elise and Lee, we haven't seen him perform really well. He's been a lot better on the likes of course, Pantheon and Vi. So let's see what he can actually pull out here. Of course, the Karma now for Mixer. We saw him played yesterday as well. Very strong laning phase. You're going to constantly push the wave up to the enemy turret, try and take it down early, and when you combine it with Caitlyn, Alliance are in for a very hard laning phase.
Jinx is being a possibility for Tabs. We've seen some fantastic Jinx work coming out so far in the LCS. We've seen some great plays from these players. But in a moment, just waiting to say Tabs, is he going to go with this? And more importantly, will Froggen be taking Gragas?
And what I like about this Jinx is the fact that look here on the side of Super Hard Crew. Who's going to get to Jinx? Nobody. Ryze stays in the backline, of course. Caitlyn stays in the backline. Karma stays in the backline. At least you have to repel into the face of Jinx. So there's so many options for Jinx to just stay back here and hammer away.
Looks like with Renekton squeaking through, it will be a mid lane Ryze. That's if this Renekton gets locked in. We'll make sure we'll see whether it does or not, whether Mimer fancies it or whether he fancies that Renekton. He absolutely will fancy Renekton. That means it's going to be a Ryze versus Gragas, which we just seen.
Yeah, we saw it in the Gambit against Millennium matchup where Curb, despite dying early on, giving double buff to Alex, he actually still managed to turn it around and pick up a kill onto Alex and was very aggressive. So we need to remember that Ryze, he is a slow starting laner. The first few levels, he's okay, but he's not going to completely destroy these AP champions who can farm from a distance themselves. And of course at level 6, Gragas, he can set up so many things together with Evelynn against Ryze, because Ryze, he doesn't have any jumps. So as soon as you get to him with your ultimate, you can knock him back and then Evelynn can join in. So let's see if Super Hard Crew can actually handle this. Maybe Impaler is going to stay around the level 6 mark to defend Selfie here. But it signals to me, top lane, they want to win it. They want to be very aggressive. Bot lane, of course, the same. And then mid lane should be the focus for Impaler to make sure Ryze gets going early on. And then try and simply just beat out Froggen on this Gragas. And then have Ryze just scaling into the late game.
So coming into this game, the stats don't lie. It would be Alliance you put down as favourites with that 5-win streak right now. But Super Hard Crew looked replenished yesterday. We're going to see Selfie, this new mid laner, this time not on an assassin. You can't really claim Ryze as an assassin of any form. So is he being put out of his comfort zone purely for the meta here?
Well, the fact they early picked this Ryze, simply so they had two options to send it, shows to me at least he's very confident on it. He was one of the people, of course, making this pick and ban phase. Yeah. So he's been saying, of course, I can't play this Ryze. I'm confident taking against Gragas from Froggen. So I don't feel like he's out of his comfort zone, but I definitely feel like we need to see something from him here now. Like play a little bit more passive, get the farm, and then scale into team fights instead of the LeBlanc we saw earlier.
Well, you guys at home have been voting on which team will win today. So let's check in to see how this match added up. With 77% of your votes, you have Alliance leading Super Hard Crew.
Well, just like you said yourself, Alliance on a win streak, been performing so well. They are the favorites going into this game, and we have to agree.
We have to agree, and we'll see how it works out for them because, well, numbers don't always add up, as was just proven with Roccat finally getting that victory over SK Gaming and turning the tables once again to create yet more ties in the European League of Legends Championship Series. Super Hard Crew, they are basically fighting to make sure they don't end up in the bottom of the table right now. Millennium, they are down there, maybe even down and out. We will yet to find out. They're going to have to really pull something out, something special. Super Hot Crew, They are 7th place still, I believe, at the moment. They are desperately trying to claw their way out of this one. Alliance, well, they're looking to try and get 3rd place.
Of course, and if Alliance can continue climbing up the ranks here, they can even possibly get this All-Star one. They're still in a position to actually get the #1 spot, especially because the teams at #1 both lost the game this week. So we have to remember nobody's just dominating the European LCS and just going straight towards the All-Star.
They can easily try and squeak their way in there. At the moment, though, it is Alliance starting out as the blue team up against Super Hot Crew as the red team. We'll see whether that aggression that Super Hot Crew found yesterday plays out against Alliance.
And look at this, we have a Ruby Crystal as the first item onto Selfie here, so he's definitely expecting a lot of action here in the mid lane. He wants to be more tanky in case there is a fight. And I think we have to remember with Alliance, Shook, he so often at level 3-4, he goes in towards this mid lane here and tries a gank. Every single game actually he's been doing it.
Yeah, and obviously if you compare it to what Alex did, he went with the boots, didn't he, on the right. So we're actually getting some skipping dancing from Selfie in that mid lane against Frog and trying to bait him in there. I don't think he realizes that Shook is stood just off to the side, and they may even try and get some poke on him, force him back. They're going to wait till the timer maybe comes down. Look at this, Wicked also coming down. They're thinking, we're going to teach this cheeky young upstart a lesson.
Everyone wants something of Selfie here, but he's staying so far back to his turret. Actually moving out a little bit here, but you see Wicked, he's not going to move around. So Alliance, of course, just scouting away, making sure nothing happens at this level 1. So let's see again. The jungler should be the first thing to notice. Will they both go towards the mid lane with the double buff, or do they have other lanes they want to help? Because, of course, for Shook's side, Wicked should have issues in the top lane, and also bot lane-wise here against Karma and Caitlyn, it can be very tricky.
Rotations coming in here from Alliance. They knew the position, and they're choosing to go into a 2v1 in the top lane, which means Wicked, as Aatrox is being forced into a 2v1. Not sure how that's going to work out. Well, might get caught out of position, and if he's going to find him, is he going to try and take the hook to start off? He will go with Flay. He's going to get some basic attack damage. Tabs is going to maybe try and catch up and get a single shot on towards him. I think they're just going to simply force him away.
So Alliance simply said we have weaker lanes when it comes to top and bottom, so we're just going to swap it around, try and shut down some of your early aggression. Normally when you have Evelynn, you actually want the standard lane so you can put the pressure here, because a lane swap forces Evelynn to either go and dive a turret or go and defend a turret, so it's very easy to predict where she is. But let's see though, I'm not even going to be surprised if Shook still decides to run in mid lane first.
Bloodwell is available for Wicked, but he doesn't want to lose it quite this early on. I can tell you, from knowing Wicked for so many years, he would not have been more making the choice to go to this 2v1. Absolutely not.
No, he absolutely hates 2v1s, and he was one of the people always saying he wanted this change so that he could get more 1v1s. This time though, because he's against Renekton, he did have to swap around.
Well, he's having to stay well back from this one. The tower pressure is being applied, and of course it means that neither top laners in the top and bottom of the table are getting any CS at the moment. We do see Shook coming around. He's going to have the help. Impaler is there. He may well spot him any moment. Didn't spot him there, actually. Impaler will get seen. He's going to throw the hook out, manages to land it, but nothing going to follow through. I don't know what they were planning on following through on that one.
So yeah, they don't have any vision of Shook yet. They don't know if he's bot lane to try and defend. Of course, they haven't seen him yet there, so they should expect him to be towards this top lane. That's also why Impaler and Mime are staying back here, just farming up. No wards, of course, but just the fact they haven't seen him defend the bot lane turret signals to them he is top.
Well, that in itself keeps pressure on Impaler, forces him there, and that means Shook's hit and run on towards his golem. Shook's still hanging around here with that double buff. The ward has been placed out there from Impaler. Now he's spotted the golems are gone. Now he knows that Shook is around, which means he's going to wait even longer while Shook's like, right, I'm going to take this opportunity, steal your wraiths.
But this is just fine for Super Hot Crew, because we have to remember the bot lane turret. He will go down faster than the top lane turret. So if they can just keep defending up here with 2 members, they will be able to get some good damage on the bot lane. Wicked, he actually decided to stop his recall here and just stay in the lane for now. But Shook, he's far away from this bot lane. He actually wants to try something here in mid, but Selfie's in a very good position.
And more importantly, of course, the fact that they saw them, golems gone, they know the information that Shook is up in that top area. It means the bottom lane are completely safe. They've got no wards, no vision whatsoever, but they know that Shook is in that top half of the jungle. Selfie, though, he's in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, if he gets pushed out here, his wave is pushing towards Frog, and so the longer Shook waits, the more risky situation Selfie will be in. But let's see how long he decides to stay in. There they go!
They're going belly slam on towards him. The Ignite is running. They should have enough to dive in towards the turret. Shook's taking the tower hits. Is going to try and get away. The Ignite's running. Is it going to be enough?
Oh,
it is! And he gets the turnaround kill.
So he turns it around. Of course, the first bot went over to Alliance, and now Frog, and he can stay in the lane and push. And Mime are going very low in the top lane here.
Impaler coming back up, simple defensive duties, the chompers were thrown down, and Nif and Tabs trying to get themselves a kill. That means, well, Wicked again in trouble on this bottom lane. Tower almost gone, that will be finished off. Super Hot Crew with the first tower in 5 minutes.
So once again, we see Shook ganking the mid lane for Alliance very, very early on. Wants to get Froggen going here. Meanwhile, though, it simply meant the bot lane. There was no pressure onto them. They knew the jungler wasn't nearby, so they just took the turret here. If they can manage to defend this one here, Impaler is nearby. He's deciding actually to back off a little bit here. So let's see if Mima can hold the turret.
Yeah, only now have they just finally used that trinket to place a ward in that tri-bush. They had complete control. They knew they were safe in that bottom lane.
Well, the ward again wouldn't have done too much against Evelyn. They needed the pink to actually spot him out, so that's why they didn't actually care. As long as they had vision of Evelyn or saw her gank somewhere, they knew they could just safely push the turret. Just the fact though that Selfie turns it around and actually gets a kill makes it even more worth it for Super Hot Crew.
Well, we do see Shook deep in enemy territory right there. Managed to take away the wolves, but Mima continuing to just hold this one out. Selfie and Froggen in this mid lane. We featured on them earlier on, and the moment Selfie did manage to get a kill, managed to go back, got that tier, and he's going to try and start stacking it out. See how quick he can do that though against Froggen.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. He's level 6, and Shook, once again, he wants to try something here. Now Froggen is 6.
Oh, that was a great bounce, and Selfie's completely put out of position. No flash available to him. He's just going to run to his jungler. That's going to catch on towards Shook. They're going to turn this one back around. Fantastic stuff from Impaler.
And Alliance, they're so aggressive around this mid lane here, but Super Hard Crew, once again, they respond. Impaler, he moves straight from the top lane down. Once the gank started, and Selfie, he just ran towards him and turned it around instantly. They have so much instant burst damage with this Elise and Ryze combo.
So much confidence play from Selfie there. Once he was caught by that explosive cast, didn't panic, didn't try and run back to his tower, which generally I would say 90% of players probably would have done. He's right, I'm fine. I will just stroll up towards my jungler, and well, it's going to translate into a dragon as well in this bot lane. If they can make this work out, it's going to give them a 2,000 gold advantage.
So this does mean, however, that Mima is still left up in the top lane, and Alliance will get a lot of damage onto the top turret. But you just got another kill onto your, you got a kill onto your jungler, assist onto your mid lane, and of course now the dragon, because the dual lane from Alliance is stuck in the top lane. So Super Hard Crew are really doing well in this early game.
Froggen stepping out of the mid lane, looking to maybe go and roaming towards the top, and that top lane has been completely left on its own. Tabs and Nif have done a job on towards there, and they will manage to get that turret down. So all square in turrets, top one finally down.
Yes, all square in turrets, but the dragon, of course, is Super Hot Crew. We need to remember this. Also, there was no vision from Alliance, so they don't have the exact timer for the next dragon. Where Super Hot Crew, if they time it correctly, they can go in there, get some early vision, and just stay and stand ready. Because when you have Elise as well, we know how good she is at taking these dragons, so they should be in a very good position to get the next one, unless they fall behind now in the following 5 minutes.
Selfie with the blue buff. Catalyst will probably be next for him. He's just going to continue with that blue buff. He can stick around for a bit longer. That means Froggen will be going back there. He's got himself the explosive cask if he needs to try and go aggressive on Selfie. Shook in the meantime in this mid lane trying to steal away the red buff. And well, Impaler's nowhere to be seen, so this will be a red for Shook.
Yeah, and Super Hard Crew actually decided to send their dual lane up top here to defend the big wave coming in with the dual lane from Alliance side. Now they're gonna push this one out. Let's see if they stay in the lane to try and get this top turret, because Mima, he's down in the bot lane, and we actually see the dual lane from Alliance coming back towards top. So it seems we got just gonna swap everything around, and Super Hard Crew can do this because the dragon is not up, so they don't care about having that dual lane top.
Yeah, Shook stepping away from that red buff, didn't have the vision, didn't feel too confident, didn't know where Impaler was, despite the fact he was back in base. Of course, our vision we have is of the full spectator client, so we know exactly what's going on.
Of course, and the information he had was the fact he spotted the dual lane from Super Hard Crew in the lane, and he knew his own dual lane was in the base. So he was like, I'm not gonna stay here. If they try and catch me out, they will find me and kill me, because again, I don't have a flash.
Yeah, for someone that's died twice already, didn't want to take that risk. Looking at this mid lane, Froggen is going to get away. Selfie with that ultimate running, just simply going to clear the wave with it in the end. Not a bad thing at the end of the day. It's a pretty fast cooldown, of course, and it's going to give him that little bit of life still he wanted. Mima in this bottom lane up against Wicked. We can see Wicked with a gigantic CS advantage. Mima did not have fun in that top lane.
Quite a lot of CS here for Mima to pick up. As long as he can get them onto the turret, he's all alone because Wicked decided to back off, so he should be able to pick up all of the CS. Of course, also with the pickaxe, makes it easier to get the last hits. Top lane wise, the pressure is on here for Mix and Mr. Rallis, because they have so much poke. They have good disengage in case Evelyn should come up there. It will rely 100% on Nif actually landing a hook, otherwise it's very hard for Alliance to set something up.
And I'm interested to see how that Spell Thief is going to work out. He's upgraded to the Frostfang already. He's gained around about 250 gold from it. So we'll see how that translates, because you can see Nif didn't go for any GP10 items just yet.
And of course we have to highlight, talking about items, the tier early on for Ryze here, so it's gonna stack very early. Remember on 4.3, it's gonna give 1 mana every 8 seconds just passively, so it's stacking up faster than normal here. It's very good for Ryze. He got it on his first back after he actually got the kill onto Shook.
Invade coming on from the Super Hot crew. They've got the duo lane of Tabs and Nif in their sights, and that's where they're going. It's going to be a 4-man pylon on this tower. They have got a ward, but is it going to be enough? There's the choppers going down. Nif's been caught out. Has to use the ultimate to try and keep him out, but he's going to be the sacrificial lamb for the Super Hot crew. Kill goes across to Impaler. Now we see a Froggen coming in. Explosive cast just decimates Selfie where he stands. He's going for a second. He's going to have to repel straight back on this one. Has he got the rocket?
Beautiful.
He does. And Gragas manages to get 2 kills. Froggen continuing on this one. The Death Rocket is not available anymore, but doesn't matter. Mr. Rallis is taken so low that he's going to get picked off again. It's another kill, this time for Tabs.
And Alliance completely turned this one around. They had the vision there, so Froggen, he moved up as soon as he saw the 2 members, and it took him some time to kill Nif, so he got up there. The tower aggro was still on Selfie when he knocked him back into the turret, so he just got destroyed, and then they could just chase it down here, got the kill onto Impaler, and of course Mr. Riders with Shook joining in as well. So very good turnaround. They only lost the support.
Froggen choosing to go towards the Morella Nomicon instead of the Athenes and Early Grey, which we've been seeing so often on these mid laners. So we'll see how that one works out for him. It's the other optional choice that you can go. Selfie having to use that ultimate, burn it down, try and come around. They're going to try and collapse on towards Shook. The cocoon lands on towards him. This should be a kill. Who will pick it up? It will be Impaler again. I feel that should have gone to Selfie.
So I have absolutely no idea why you as a jungler, when your mid laner is gone, when obviously your dual lane is not even nearby, why do you walk into the enemy waves? They make absolutely no sense for Shook here. He just gave up a free kill for Super Hot crew, and they're just, of course, going to take it and say thank you.
Well, Alliance all return to that mid lane. Impaler, meanwhile, with that jungler down, will take away the Major Wolf, but he does find Tabs, and Nif is closing the door on him here. They have the vision, they managed to land, they pop the cork on towards him. Impaler's going to have to try and repel away from this one, not too sure where he's going to go. The hook, the death sentence is in there. Nif goes in, lands the flay. Froggen's going to chase on towards this one. Belly Slam is available, but again he gets caught by the cocoon, and Impaler gets away safe.
And Impaler actually did the exact same thing Shook just did. He got caught out here in the jungle, off Alliance. He had to use the flash, but at least he got out alive. Dragon now, 45 seconds. The timer, Super Hot crew will have it 100%. Alliance, they had to guess a little bit because there was no vision when Super Hot crew took it. But they already have a ward here, so they're going to see the dragon spawn.
Yeah, Shook's got that ward down. The bottom wave had been pushed by Wicked, who we haven't seen a great deal of, because of course when these top laners are in that 2v1 situation, they are basically taken out of the game for almost a full 20 minutes, you could say, unless they're basically being dived on. They actually both did a very good job at not dying when they're in that situation.
Yeah, we actually had Evelyn, of course, coming up top, but because Impaler was there, they decided not to dive it, so everyone just backed off. And yeah, Wicked, he was left alone in the bot lane. He lost the turret fast, but still managed to pick up a lot of CS and actually doing really well. Going towards the Blade of Doom King, so he wants to be able to split push and 1v1 duel.
So, Dragon up. Let's see if Alliance fancy it. They have good Dragon control in the last few games, which is what's put them in this situation in the first place. Nif going to throw out that death sentence, not going to land it. Of course, you see the cocoon from Impaler. Both these teams trying to do some positional prowess, but who has the advantage here?
And let's see again, if Tabs can actually stay in the back, if Mimar cannot get to Tabs, he will be able to just stand behind and just fire away. And then of course the ultimate from Froggen here, on something like Selfie, if they can knock him into a line side, they can just instantly blow him up and burst him down. Especially with Jinx here, with the ultimate, it is an execute, so the lower they are, the more damage you will do. And of course Wicked, he can just jump to the backline of Super Hot, trying to be as annoying as possible with his passive.
Selfie just uses ultimate to clear that wave to keep them away from that mid lane turret. They will have the timers on that one. We see Mixer with good poke on towards Wicked there, and they're actually starting the Dragon off here. I'm not too sure if they're fully committed to this one. Selfie had actually gone to take the rates in that top half. Not too sure whether he was on the same page. Super Hot crew, they're taking this Dragon very quickly though. This should go their way. They will get it. Alliance going towards this one. Wicked's going to have his Bloodwell popped. Are they going to try and follow through? Mr. Rales gets hooked in by Nif. Has to flash away instantly. Wicked flashes out of the danger as well. Nif is going to get caught out here. He's going to go down. Mr. Rales will land it. That's going to be the explosive cast landed up towards Mima. Impaler's in all sorts of trouble. Shook gets in. Gets himself the double on Mr. Rales as well. And they are just going to run away from this one. Selfie does not get involved.
And Super Hot crew, they invested so much onto trying to kill Wicked. His passive was popped, but he just revived up and he got out of the Dragon Pit. Then 3 members from Super Hot crew were stuck in there. Ultimate from Froggen hit them, and then instantly after, Shook just flashes in there, picks up the 2 kills on a very low target, and Selfie, he was barely in the fight.
And you could argue maybe a couple of kills for that Dragon is worth it, but losing 2 towers would not be. Selfie does manage to stick around long enough to keep them away from that inner turret, but I'm not too sure how long for. You can see all the spawns coming back up. Let's check this Dragon fight out once again.
Yeah, so notice how much they actually invest onto Wicked here, and notice the position of Rise. He's on the minimap here, up in the top side. He's actually joining in behind. He has to run out straight away because Alliance just turns around onto him. Now in the Dragon Pit, look at the members here from Super Hot Crew. 3 of them are stuck in here. Ultimate hits 3 people from Froggen, and instantly after Shook, he flashes in, piles onto them, gets the double kill. And 3 kills for Alliance, even though they didn't get the Dragon, definitely worth it for them.
And you got to wonder, really, Selfie's positioning. He was off towards the race. He was started that
exactly,
fight.
Yeah. He went to race when they started the Dragon. I'm not sure if they tried to bait Alliance to think they didn't actually start it because he was running away.
Yeah.
But it simply meant for Alliance. They pinged him actually, and then they just went in for the fight because they knew he wasn't nearby. And as soon as you saw him join in from the top side, 2 members just turned around, body slam from Froggen towards him. He had to flash out, or at least run out of the fight.
Of course, that explosive cask, along with the Super Mega Death Rocket, is a ton of damage piling on towards that one collective clump of players. We see the gank potential in his top lane not going to work out. Wicked not going to fall for that one. Hasn't got that blood well available, simply going to ward out that river. He may still well face checking towards it, which is why we're seeing Impaler sticking around.
Yeah, so let's see here. Nobody from Alliance is close by. Mima is just waiting around. There's of course a ward on him, so Wicked knows everything's going on here with Mima at least. He didn't see Elise yet, and here Elise comes.
There's the cocoon. It's going to be enough damage on towards Wicked. He's not getting out of that one, and he just got burst down quickly.
So Mima went down here into the river, so Wicked thought everything was alright. Mima was just waiting for the next wave to come up, so he just stayed there informed. Then a very nice cocoon from Elise. Instantly onto him, they stun him, they kill him, no passive of course, and now they can take the top lane turret.
Well, knowing that that jungler is in the top lane, they know that the bottom lane is effectively free, and that's where Alliance are heading. They're going to rush through this one. They can keep on pushing as well because they can still see those 2 champions in that top lane.
Yeah, very good response here from Alliance. We actually see Super Hot Crew pinging on to the next wave. They want to push it all the way down before they back off. Right, or Aatrox, sorry, he's coming up towards this lane. Let's see if he can stop it. But Alliance, meanwhile, just staying and pushing here.
Alliance going aggressive, Mixer getting caught out, he gets taken down, Nif in trouble, he manages to get away, Ace in the hole, blocked off by his AD carry. Froggen comes across as well, so this 4-man push from Alliance is continuing. Meanwhile, you can see the bottom lane in the little corner down there. It is going to be Mima diving on towards Wicked. Wicked getting taken down once again.
So dives everywhere here. The only thing we can actually notice from this is the fact that Froggen now onto Selfie.
Does manage to pile on towards him. Belly Slam didn't quite land, and Selfie is going to be able to get away from this one. Flash just at the right time to pull that explosive cask out. You can see that top lane turret in the inner turret did go down, so Super Hot Crew countering very nicely, taking 2 turrets of their own.
Yeah, so Mima and Impaler doing very nice work up here. 2 turrets, of course, 2 kills onto Wicked. Very nice job by them. Super Hot Crew, they couldn't defend the bot lane turret. Also because Froggen, his position was between the bot lane and the top lane, and he just, bot lane and the mid lane, he just constantly kept Selfie away from doing anything. That's why they could dive and get the turret. And one thing we saw in the 1v1 between him and Selfie, notice how Froggen delayed his ultimate. He was waiting for Selfie to flash, but of course Selfie, he was just waiting with his own flash, saw the ultimate, then he flashed. So very nice play.
Fast-paced, aggressive game. Just 18 minutes gone in this game, 7 towers down already, and 15 kills. So where are we going next? Well, Dragon's up in just shy of 2 minutes, and looking across the items, you can see, of course, quite a lot of aggression. Wicked, no tanky items, right, apart from maybe the Ninja Tabby, you could take that into account, but that's about it. We do see the Sunfire Cape now completed by Mima, along with that Hydra, which he picked up at the beginning. Looking at towards the mid lane, as you can see, Froggen is now getting that Rabadon's Death Cap complete. Morel Nomicon was picked up earlier on. Nif will not want to be facing on towards Mima, but he will if he pulls in tabs. Death Sensor's not going to quite land on towards him. He will back away from that one. Selfie, meanwhile, just want to talk about him stacking out that tier, so don't expect him to be going huge until that is complete.
No, he needs more time to stack up his tier, of course, get the core items from him. But look here at Froggen. Blue Potion picked up, of course, and then we have Death Cap completed. He's having so much damage at this point. If they should break out a fight and he can land his ultimate onto 2 or 3 members, Alliance should be ready to win it.
Explosive cast thrown down, and look at that. Shook manages to land his ultimate, takes down the Mixer. Will go towards Impaler. Impaler's going to have to repel, but he's got nowhere to run. Wicked manages to get in. He takes down Mr. Raleigh. Impaler's running through the Alliance jungle. We do see Selfie coming up. He may well catch that Shook. Shook forced the flash away from that one, and Impaler is actually safe, but Alliance, they are a 5-man cluster running up the mid.
They can possibly go for the inhib here. 5 members. Mima is coming down here. Impaler, of course, Regal. Selfie's in a bad position. He's behind. He can't defend anything unless he wants to go and fight here, but there's only 3 members alive from Super Hot Crew.
He's trying to run interference, but he really hasn't got the capabilities, I feel. Super Hot Crew do get around, and they've done a good job. All it was the inner turret, which honestly had almost gone already. So Alliance stepping away from this one, letting Super Hot Crew off lightly.
But we really have to highlight Shook and Froggen here. Every single time something happens, they are involved. We saw here 3 members from Super Hot Crew were pushing the turret, and they just go in and destroyed him. And yes, Dragon just spawned here. Super Hot Crew instantly down there with a pink ward. No vision from Alliance yet.
That's a fast Dragon going down in Super Hot Crew. Are going to take it and continue their dominance on the Dragon. Control. Oh, Nif getting caught out with the slow. The Chompers will go down. Selfie's going to have to step around them. Will he get close enough to get that prison down? No, he will not. And Nif does manage to escape.
And Froggen, should be able to hold this mid turret because he's having so much AP at the moment. His barrels will clear the waves very, very fast. You see here just instantly exploding the first few minions and then takes away the next one. So Super Hot Crew, they won't be able to push despite them having all 5 members around this mid turret.
Keeping that 5 members there means Wicked is alone in that top lane, getting himself some free farm and actually pushing on towards that inner turret. And an Aatrox can do a lot of damage on them turrets if left alone. Super Hot Crew, they're rotating around. They've got a big stack on this bottom. They're going 5-man towards the inner.
And Froggen is far away. He's coming down towards the jungle now. He's the wave clear from Alliance. He needs to be there to kill all these minions. Super Crew can boost, and now they're going to him.
They're caught Froggen out in that jungle. Mimer's going to get the stun down on towards him. The Cocoon not going to land. Impaler repels away, and well, Froggen takes that Lantern straight away. Meanwhile, they do get themselves that top lane turret is going to go down for Wicked.
So both teams decide here to trade turrets, find enough for Alliance, find enough for Super Hot Crew. They can now back off here. Of course, they wanted to kill onto Froggen, so they continue pushing down here. Selfie still staying around a little bit. Let's see if he actually wants to try something. He's been having a more slow game because he's not as mobile as on the LeBlanc we saw yesterday. There's a lot of times where he's actually standing out of position when the fights are starting. And then he's not able to join in because, again, he doesn't have the jumps he has on LeBlanc.
Well, that tier is stacked to 640, almost there. 750 is where he needs to get to, so expect to see him building in towards that Saros next round. Impaler on this red buff, he's got Wicked and Shook coming around there. He stood on top of a ward. He's got to be careful in this one. He gets smited away by Shook.
Wow, so Impaler, he wanted to give the red buff over to Mr. Rales. That's why he waited around. He walked towards him and then Shook just went in, smited it. Very nice play here. Getting red buff, of course, getting down blue buff now. So Alliance with some good map control, and once we have actually seen fights, it's been Alliance who's been the best ones. Always started out by Froggen.
Well, with 10 towers down in 20 minutes, you could argue this is another fast-paced game. We've already had 2 very quick early games on for the day, and we'll see how these next 2 go. At the moment, Alliance are finding themselves up against a very difficult Super Hot Crew here. It is just 2,000 gold differential. Nif getting caught out here. Is the damage going to be enough? They're going to chase on towards him. He's in the hole. Blocked off by Froggen. It's not enough though because Mimer flashed for it. He does manage to get himself the kill. Selfie's tanking up the turret here on towards Tap, and the damage continues through. Then Super Hot Crew get themselves a second and the turret.
So Super Hot Crew, they catch out Nif first, invest a lot of things to kill him here, and then they just continue going in, and Taps steps into range of the Runic Prism from the Selfie, locks him up, instantly bursts him down. 2 kills for Super Hot Crew. Very nice play, and catching up in gold once again.
Alliance looking to maybe try and push something. Super Hot Crew knowing they're low, actually getting baited and going to rush for this one. They're going to try and catch on towards Shook. The talisman was used. Actually, a Telelight was not the talisman. It's the speed boost that Karma gives out.
Yeah, so Karma, again, we have to remember, of course, brings a lot of utility. There's no Sivir in this game, so Alliance side, they're going to rely on this talisman if they want to speed up the entire team, where, of course, Karma can do the same on Super Hot Crew's side.
So, Haunting Guy is being picked up by the support. Oh, Mr. Rales nearly caught out there. It's interesting actually seeing Mr. Rales. You can see he's at 1-3-2. He's clearly not having fun in this fast-paced, aggressive game. Yet the rest of his team are doing well. Normally it's him that has to carry him. Finally, for once, somebody else is carrying him on that team.
But it's been so hard for him to actually find farm because there's always fights everywhere. You see it's 10-9 here with 23 minutes in. We've seen so many turrets go down. Dragons, of course, constantly be in action. So he's never been just stuck in a lane farming away because he'd had to move together with his team. And Caitlyn at this point with Bloodthirster and the Last Whisper, yes, he has some good damage, but he's not going to have the same amount as Jinx here when it comes to straight up fight.
Speaking of Jinx, going to be getting that red buff and will continue his farming way. Neither AD carries really had some free farm, some free time at the moment. It's the junglers that have been having their fun time. You see Impaler handing that blue buff once again over towards Selfie. Impaler 4-2-3 and Shook also 5-3-2, despite the fact Shook was actually at, I think, 1-3-1 at one point.
They had a very bad start. He tried
good
a few times, then he just turned it around together with Froggen. Every single time there was a chance for him to set something up, Froggen landed the ultimate, then Shook came in with his ultimate, and everyone was just low and just died. And we actually see Banshees now onto Selfie, so he wants to make sure that Froggen cannot engage onto him, or at least Evelyn cannot engage onto him.
I suspect this count also being picked up by a number of members of both teams. And the pings heavy from Super Hot Crew. They are fully aware of Alliance's positioning. Dragon up in just shy of a minute's time. Selfie's rushing across here. They're going to try and catch out. It's actually Impaler's been caught out. He does manage to repel away. Lands a cocoon on towards Shook. Doesn't manage to return the damage. He's caught by a heavy slow there. Has to flash away. They're going to continue chasing on this one. He's going to get caught out. He will go down. Tabs is the victor on that one. And now Mimer, he's running for his life. Then that's going to be a good slow. They're not going to land the knock upon Mimer. And Alliance are still pushing.
Now again, looking at the vision control actually from Super Hot Crew and how they decide to engage the fights. We had Selfie coming in here through the mid lane, but meanwhile Impaler was being caught out by Alliance, and now actually they're moving towards this Baron. There's no smite of course because Impaler is dead for the next 15 seconds.
There's no big crazy burst from Super Hot Crew that could potentially steal this one. They're going to have to go aggressive, or Selfie is literally going to have to get in there and blow everything, which is what he's looking to do. You can see the speed up from Mixer. Not going to be enough. That Baron going down. It's got 1,000 hit points left. They take it.
Yeah, you see Super Hot Crew just backed off. They went towards this mid lane here. Didn't want to go for it. Froggen still had his ultimate as well, so he could just shoot them away in case they wanted to try and get the steal onto the Baron here. So very good play by by Alliance actually. Catching out first, of course, Impaler, and then just as soon as he landed down, they just engaged for the fight, got the kill, and then moved towards the Baron.
Well, Dragon is up in 2 seconds time. Super Hot Crew are ready to try and take this one. Alliance have not backed off.
They don't have the
They are
timer.
actually pushing up towards the mid lane instead. Super Hot Crew get themselves their 4th Dragon of the game, but they only have to get defensive duties. That inhibitor turret is being threatened.
Yeah, and they have to recall very fast. Once again, Selfie decides to come in here from behind towards Alliance. He needs to run all the way around here unless he wants to go straight for the fight against the Baron up Alliance team.
Well, Mixer does a good job of clearing the wave off there, keeping them at bay. Super Hot Crew have rotated well. They've got themselves into that position. They are up against a 5-man Baron Alliance though, but they can clear the waves.
And it's funny to see how Super Hot Crew yesterday had issues controlling the dragons. They didn't pick up the first few dragons in the game. This time around, they have been putting a lot of focus, but every time they went towards the dragon, Alliance just walk up the mid lane here and force Super Hot Crew to instantly back off to and try and come around to defend.
Phil Alliance maybe are pushing a little too hard. They have no presence in the top or the bottom lanes. You can see the waves push middle, if not into towards Alliance bases, which is why Super Hot Crew having no problems at all clearing out this wave. Wicked taking a giant burst of damage there. And again, now they've realized it, now they're stepping away.
Yeah, and also with the combo from Alliance here, only Jinx can actually hit towards the turret. She's the only one with proper damage and from range. Of course, Fresh is from range, but his damage means absolutely nothing on these turrets. And it's very scary for Tab because there's the option of possibly like a flash rune pressure from Selfie onto him, and then they just pile onto him, Super Hot Crew, and just destroy him.
Well, the bottom wave is slow pushing in for Alliance now, so they are going to keep on pushing, see if they can rotate around there. But again, that wave, as you mentioned, cleared out very easily. Vixen not managing to land that inner flame onto edge anyone, not managed to get that slow damage down. The lantern thrown out for Tabs to safety. He gets, what, 2 shots on the tower? This Baron is not being put to good use so far.
Yeah, and you see how fast he's actually just taking the lantern. As soon as someone from Super Hot Crew steps forward, he takes the lantern to safety. Don't want to risk anything, and that's why Alliance, they can't push this one. They need the side lanes, and now the bot lane pushing up now with a good big wave.
Somebody will have to deal with that one, but for now their focus is still this mid lane, keeping it away. Only 2 minions remaining, and Super Hot Crew will clear them with ease. Now we see Impaler, Selfie, all heading down towards his bot lane. Froggen is going down there as well. There is a pink ward you can see just off the side, but that is easily cleared. Quick Piltover, quick burst from Selfie, wave's gone.
So Alliance don't actually get anything from this Baron buff yet, at least. They tried to push away, didn't work for them. They could never get towards the turret. They need to just back off here, try and reset the whole map, force Super Hot Crew to move out of their own base, and then set up a pick. If they can get some good vision in this jungle here from Super Hot Crew, they can try and fight them, like Super Hot Crew actually did yesterday against Millennium. Get this 1 or 2 kills they need, and then go towards the turrets.
And you know, we were talking yesterday about the Super Hot Crew, how their scrims have gone. They haven't had that many long games. We're into the 30-minute mark. The pressure almost certainly is on towards Super Hot Crew. Alliance have been in this situation many times so far in the LCS as a 5-man unit. Selfie in this mid lane, well, he is on rise. He is going to get stronger as this game progresses. Still, you can see yet to pick up his Ceros actually. Hasn't gone in towards that item, which must be fully stacked by now if I just look towards it. It should be. Yeah, completely fully stacked, so he's just waiting on the goal to buy it.
Yeah, again, Super Hot Crew, going back to the scrim things, they actually said we normally win on 15-20 minutes every single scrim because we are playing so well in the early game. Alliance have managed to do so well themselves. Stop the early aggression from Super Hot Crew. We had, of course, a lot of action early on, a lot of turrets going down, but Alliance are actually in the lead at the moment, and the longer they go into the game, and wow, Taps, that was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, that was impressive. That was a good rocket steal. He had the ward, you can see just off to the side of that blue buff, so they had vision of it, but still, to time that rocket at the right time against the Ryze who's blowing his ultimate on it was very impressive.
And we see actually fairly early Guardian Angel onto Taps here. He knows that he's going to be the target whenever he moves towards to hit these turrets here. So of course with the Guardian Angel, some more safety from him. He's having the flash barrier, and of course the Lantern normally from Nif to try and escape if he wants to hit the turret.
So Zeus Embrace has finally been caught up, but as you mentioned, that Guardian Angel is in there. Super Hot Crew just waiting off at the side, maybe going to try and create an opportunity, hopefully get a pick. We'll see what they do. Nif is separated from the pack, but they're not going to manage to jump and latch onto that one. Banshee's Veil's also being picked up by a few members of Alliance as well. Bottom lane, it needs pushing out, and Super Hot Crew ping that one. You see Wicked heading down there, which means we are going to have a small delay in the siege.
And let's see once the teamfight actually breaks out. If Super Hot Crew decides to pop the speed buff from Karma and just try and roll over Alliance, get into the backline, get to Taps, get to Froggen, and that's why they position themselves on the flanks to try and get around them, because they don't care about Wicked, they don't care about Sugar, of course. They want to get this backline down, and they know if they just leave Taps to just hit away all the time, they will lose the fights.
So what do we make of this? We're going to have, look, you can see the Dragon up in a minute, Baron up in just shy of 2 minutes, top wave's been pushed out, bottom wave's been pushed in. Super Hot Crew Alliance, they're going to be going for a 5v5 at some point, I feel here. Who has the power right now?
Well, again, Alliance been having the map control, so they are in the position to go again into the jungle of Super Hot Crew, ward everything up they want, stay around this Baron area, wait for them to move out if they want to stop the Baron, or just give it up for free to Alliance, and then they just have to move up here towards this base again. There's going to be a point where Evelyn and Aatrox don't even care about the turrets from Super Hot Crew's side because they will have enough armor, and that's the point where Alliance can just start diving if this game keeps going on.
In that bottom lane, he's going to get cleared out. The Wicked just drove in. Alliance are slowing things down. And of course, they need to be cautious because this Super Hot Crew team does have a lot of damage on it. And you just see the gold. It's only, what, 2,000 gold differential between these two. It was a fast-paced start for both these teams, and it's only fair that they take stock of the moment and realize the situation. They are going to try and push towards this Dragon. It's up in 10 seconds, but they are leaving their mid lane very well exposed.
And this time they don't walk all the way down to Dragon because they know Alliance are pushing up here, because Alliance have been doing it every single time. And this should mean a fight because both teams are very close to each other.
Paler caught out of position. Those chompers did go down. They've caught out Wicked on the side there. He has got the Blood Well available. Will not want to use it just yet. Nif has to throw that Lantern out.
So I like the very early damage onto the front line of Alliance here. We saw how much damage Selfie can actually do onto Wicked. There was just a one combo and he dropped down to 50%. It means the Super Hot Crew side, they can actually turn around the tactic in teamfights, and instead of piling onto Alliance, just kiting away, hitting the nearest target all the time.
This Dragon, will it be the 5th of the game? They've caught Mimer. That's not who you want to hook up. Selfie certainly is though, but that shield coming out, coming big. The Wicked going to dive on towards him. He has got that Blood Well, it will be required. But meanwhile, you see Impaler's gone down. Mr. Rallis goes down. Froggen catches on towards him. Mixer's running for his life. Meanwhile, at the top there, Selfie's going to come back in, but he's running away again. It's going to be 3 members of Super Hot Crew fleeing for their lives. Mimer gets caught out by Shook. Taps has got the blood set. He's going to drown towards Impaler. Impaler's taken so low. Selfie's going to get dropped down. It's going to be Taps with the Lantern taken back in there. Pops the cork, does not landed on Impaler, but it doesn't matter. They've taken 3 members already down. Mixer's going to come around the side. Where are you going to go, Mixer? He's just exposed himself. He's going to run. Oh, the death sentence comes down from Nip, and that's the end of Super Hot Crew. It's an ace for Alliance.
And look at this team fight here. Taps was left completely untouched in the back of Alliance here. Nobody from Super Hot Crew went towards him, and who comes out big? Of course it's Taps. Soon as Froggen died, soon as Wicked died, he just joined into the fight here. Picked up kill after kill, got excited, continued chasing with Shug of course and with Nif. And we have to highlight Shug again. Like, so strong in the fight. Look at this team fight here. Selfie being caught out a little bit, forced to actually flash away because Wicked jumps onto him. Notice Taps in the background with his Guardian Angel. Nobody's even close to him. Mr. Rallis, beautiful hook by Nif, getting him into the team. Everyone piles onto him, kills him. Froggen actually dies, but because Taps is untouched so far, he can now stay safely and just hammer away, and nobody can even get close to killing him. And let's just see again here Nif going towards Selfie, flash hooking him in. So Taps just needs to turn around, hit him a few times in the face, one more there. And of course Nif onto Mixer, we're going to see just in a few seconds here getting another kill for Alliance. So beautiful team fight by Nif and good position by Taps.
Nif landing hook after hook, another beautiful one. Blind into the bush there. Knew he was around there roughly, and it gives another kill across to Shook. Shook himself, 8-3-4 now, but Super Hot Crew, they've quickly reacted. They've got themselves back down towards that dragon. It will be the 5th dragon of the game for Super Hot Crew, but of course, Alliance, we saw it in the picture-in-picture in the bottom corner. They got themselves the Baron from that fight.
So let's see now if Alliance wants to split up into 3 lanes and just push everything up to the turret of Super Hot Crew, or they want to group as 5 and just go straight in and possibly even dive onto them, because we saw before when they had the Baron buff, they could never get close to the turret. It was always wave cleared, and Tabs never felt confident enough. He's still having the Guardian Angel, so he can go in, get a few hits onto the turret, back off, but it's going to take a while for Alliance. Let's see now here. Wicked pushing up this bot lane, and Top is already pushing in favor of Alliance, so in a good position to push up mid.
They're going to rush down on this one, actually. They're chasing on towards Alliance. I'm not too sure that's the right choice there, because Alliance, of course, did just pick up Baron. Selfie and the rest of Super Hot Crew, they didn't quite seem committed in that fight, in that last one. It was like
it was so split.
Half-heartedly. And again, it's that classic case of going into a fight split in a pincer move, and it just doesn't work out.
And Super Hot Crew really needs the ulti from Froggen here.
Oh, explosive gas,
wow.
And the Megadeth rocket comes out from Tabs. That is the end of Mixer, and that is the end of that inhibitor turret in that mid lane. That will go down. Alliance, they may well push up for victory here.
It's gonna be hard though, so 4 members from Super Hot Crew, they should wise enough. They can rotate to top here, take the wave, push it down to the turret. Mixer is dead for another 27 seconds, and they didn't actually invest too much because the ultimate from Froggen is gonna be ready fairly soon. Same goes for Tabs.
Yeah, that's gonna be quick cooldowns on them. Blue buff, of course, on Tabs. Will be managing to just gun that one down. And you can already see it's well past halfway on that cooldown. The top wave will be pushed in here, and Alliance have the prowess to keep on pushing. Lots of Banshee's Veils coming out from all members of Alliance and Super Hot Crew, trying to keep that damage, trying to stop those explosive casks. Didn't quite work out in the last one. Impaler going to be running defensive duty, but I don't think they can stop Alliance pushing now.
So a few seconds on the ultimate from Froggen here, so he won't be able to set something up just yet, but the next wave coming in could be the one where Alliance decide to say, we feel strong enough to just dive you. We know we can win the fight here. And then, of course, with Tabs, with the double buff and Guardian Angel, he's going to be very scary.
Yep, the ping on that mid lane from Alliance proves that those super minions, they're just waiting for those to walk in. They have to step past those traps. You can see that Mr. Rales has laid out, but Mr. Rales is staying well out the back there. Selfie's the one using his ultimate, trying to blow everything to keep him away from this turret.
Selfie needs to be careful. He's always running forward here. One hook from Nif and he's dead. Or the ultimate from Froggen and he's in the face of Alliance, and they can just instantly blow him up.
There are the super minions. You can see the mid lane turret. Selfie is caught out. They're going to throw out. There's the hook. He gets drawn in and just taken down in seconds. Mimer's going to follow. The rest of Alliance pile on through. Mixer gets dropped. Mr. Rales sidestepping away from that final pop the cork, but the super minions, they're on the Nexus turret. Alliance are all over it, and they're going to take themselves a 6th win in a row as Alliance storm the table in the LCS.
Very strong performance against a very aggressive Super Hot Crew team. So very nice play by Alliance. They did give up all the dragons, but every single time they just managed to push up the mid lane. And now the last few fights here, they were just waiting for the right moment, caught onto someone, killed them instantly, took the turret, took the inhib.
It was a brilliant super week for Alliance, and now it's another great week. 2-0 in week 9. Can they continue through? Just 2 more weeks remain in the LCS in the regular season, heading in towards those playoffs. This super team was generated for this exact reason, to win things. Froggen put this team together, handpicked every player in this team, and finally, 10 weeks into the season, they're actually starting to react.
And they still have time. We talked about it before the game, how Alliance, they can still get #1 because everyone in Europe are just winning and losing to each other. So it's not 100% sure yet who's going to go to All-Star, but if Alliance continues to play like this, they will definitely be a top contender.
Can they be the team that represents Europe over in the All-Star tournament? Who knows? Who knows? Lots of games still to happen, of course, with next week being another regular week and then super week to follow. So many more matches, still 6 games for these teams to go, but what a fantastic performance and what a fantastic game. It's a very aggressive start.
I absolutely loved the early game. At 20 minutes, I think we have 10 turrets down. Everyone just went to different lanes, killed people, got the turrets here. Both teams really showed strong early games. And then they slowed down a little bit because Alliance, they didn't really have the option to push the turrets, even though they were ahead. And Super Hot Crew, they were a bit scared to fight. Until we have, of course, the big dragon fight, where I think we actually have to highlight Selfie in this game. On LeBlanc, he wanted to come in from the flank and try and kill someone instantly from the backline. He tried to do the same on Ryze. He was never with...
You've not got the range.
No, exactly. And he doesn't have the mobility to do it either. He was never with Mr. Rales. When you have Caitlyn Ryze, you need to stay together in fights and just kill whoever is running towards you. If Wicked jumps to you, boom, destroy him instantly. Same goes for Shook. Instead, he came from one side, Mr. Rales was on the other side, and it simply meant for Alliance it was too easy to just single them out and force them out of the fights.
Yeah, and, well, you know, 1-1 for Super Hot Crew. It's not a bad week
Of course
overall.
not.
I mean, of course, going down to Alliance, but it was a great showing for that new man, despite the fact you could say maybe just showing his slight lack of experience in that fight.
Yeah, just showing at least that he wants to play this style. He wants to make sure he can always come in towards the backside of the enemy teams, get out of one of the squishy carries. It's what he did on LeBlanc again, and it showed to me that his Ryze, when it came to team fights, were not on point. His early game, he managed to keep fairly well in farm with Froggen. He turned, of course, the ganks around early on, so we can't really say he didn't do a good job early. But then, team fight-wise, a bit split up for Super Hot Crew here. I did still like the fact that we had such a close game, and the fact they improved their dragon play. But of course, we have to talk about Alliance. We have to highlight how good of a team they are overall. Every single member is performing. Just take Nif and again, the dragon team fight. Landing, I think, 5 hooks out of 6 and just pulling important members in, getting kills onto Alliance. Everything was just beautiful. And of course, Froggen and Shook.
When they're so scattered, though, it's generally easy to hunt them down, which is exactly what Shook was doing. And Shook, as you say, put in a great performance. Had a rough, shaky start. Got caught out a couple of times, but really turned it around. And as you mentioned, that combination, and honestly, you've got to think Mr. Rales even mentioned himself, that combination of Shook and Froggen is very scary.
It is so scary, and they do the same thing every game where Shook comes in early, ganks for Froggen here, wants to get him ahead, and it works for them. Even though they gave a few kills here, Froggen, he got ahead in CS, and Shook just continued. He just kept on doing it. Every time there was a chance to set something up with Froggen, they went in 2 members, and they just kill people. The mid lane thing where they take 3 kills onto Super Hot Crew as well, set up by Froggen and Shook. So I love the synergy between the 2 players.
Well, he was MVP last week. Will he be MVP with this week? Stay tuned to find out on that one. We're going to head over to Shox and Joe, who are ready to talk to Alliance's Froggen.
Thank you very much, DND. We are indeed here with Froggen from Alliance after that victory. Congratulations, Froggen. What I want to start by asking you is obviously there was this mystery factor going into this game with their new mid laner Selfie. Did you guys do any extra prep because of that?
No, it's pretty much just scouting what he's playing in solo queue and then just go from there. Like, the most played champion in solo queue is obviously the champion he's going to feel most comfortable on now, and that's what he's want to play.
Was that LeBlanc then, in this case, moving into picks and bans?
I think in general for us it would be better just to ban out the LeBlanc, not so much because of him, but because of the other champion he's playing outside of LeBlanc. Gragas actually does well against every single one of them. Honestly, we didn't see the Ryze pick come at all. I think it was a good pick, but I think Gragas is still really good against it.
So how far in the draft did you realize it was going to be mid and not on Mimer?
We only realized it at the last pick when he played Renekton for top. We thought yesterday they banned Ryze against Millennium because Kevin plays it, so we thought they banned it away, and then they wanted to pick it early because they don't want to play against it, so we thought it was top lane and not mid.
What do you think to Ryze while we're on that topic at the moment? I mean, he's obviously becoming a lot stronger, versatile in terms of positioning. We've seen it twice in mid lane now. We'll see it in the top lane as well. How is Ryze at this point in the game?
I think Ryze is one of the champions. Even though he's falling behind, he will always be useful. I think that counts more for top lane than mid lane, because if you fall behind in mid lane, you don't usually have that much wave clear, which is going to hurt your team. But I think he's strong on the top lane.
All right, let's talk about the game itself then. You guys opting for the lane swap in the beginning. Why exactly?
I think it was because of yesterday's game. We were like, okay, they have a lot of early aggression. How do we counter that? We just swap up the lanes. We keep the jungler top or bottom, if he wants to defend or if he wants to dive. And then basically just take all the aggression out and then just win by mid and late game because they're not as experienced in team fights with the new mid laner.
How are you guys feeling as a team now? We saw, if you look at the scoreboard, Shook played. He got a lot of kills in that game, let's say. Did get caught out a couple of times here and there, but how do you rate the performance of Shook? You know, you're 6 games in a row now. Has his performance continued to rise, or is he at that level that you expected him to be at now?
Today, I think like he went too aggressive at times he shouldn't go aggressive in. Like when Ryze runs into the jungle instead of running back to the turret, you know, okay, Lisa's going to be waiting there. So But that's things that's improving all the time. Like yesterday against Gambit, he outplayed Alex and Diamond super hard and basically forced Flash out of Diamond alone and then baited Alex to go on him, so we got a free first blood. But I really like to play with Shoki. I think he's really awesome to play with, and I think he's really, really good, and he doesn't get enough credit.
Very nice. You obviously had a very good game, but it was quite even actually till about the mid game. Tell us a little bit, did you have a little trouble being able to push against them or push up against the towers?
I think we were a bit afraid of fighting them straight up. Like we had Jinx and Gragas, and they basically had no poke at all, only really with the Caitlyn ultimate as poke. So we wanted to get a few saps on them and a few barrels on them, and then team fight from there. But I think as a team we played actually pretty well, staying together and just like splitting them up so they couldn't team fight that properly. And I think we traded 3 for 1, even though they got the Dragon at one time, and that's when we realized, okay, if we just keep doing this, keep team fighting, then it will be really easy for us to win.
So I have to ask you now, 6 games in a row, if we look back to the start, you guys were horrible on odd weeks, but you were great on even weeks, and that continued for a while. Now 6 games in a row. What's changed between now and then? Where has this consistency come from?
I don't, like, even though we won some of the even-numbered weeks, I don't think we played it that well. It was mainly us outpicking them and then just going into late game and just team fighting from there. Even though our team fights were horrible, we would still win because we had the better composition. Right now, I think we are pretty good all over, but there's still a ton to improve on.
All right, finally, I'd like to get you guys' ideas about the next game, our last LCS game here, the Copenhagen Wolves up against Fnatic. Joe, who are you calling for?
I have to say Fnatic, I think they looked pretty brilliant yesterday. The Wolves, you've always got to give them the chance. If you look at their form, it's actually really up there with the best right now, but I feel like Fnatic are coming in with a new hunger after reaching the finals of Intel Extreme Masters.
Froggen.
I think it's going to be a pretty even game if they take Gragas away from Pekka. I think he's been really strong on that champion, so maybe ban away that champion and it will be an even game. But I think Fnatic has his favorites.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations, Froggen, on that 6-0 winning streak for Alliance. Now, we'll step off the rift for just a moment, but when we come back, Fnatic and the Copenhagen Wolves will tangle in the lanes. Don't go anywhere.
Healing. I'm almost fine.
They're doing it for sure.
Ryze is here. Ryze is here.
I get him. I get Renekton.
I'm on the Ryze. Get Ryze.
I have my ult on 3.
I get Caitlyn.
Caitlyn. Get Caitlyn. Elise. Get Elise next. Focus on Elise when she's dropping down. They're killing me. Taps.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Renekton. Ryze is low.
I can catch him, maybe.
I got it.
I can catch Renekton, bro. Right.
Elise. You need Ryze.
No, Ryze.
Nice. Get Elise. Don't hunt fight.
Careful.
I don't want to lose.
Yeah, I can steal. Nice
him.
Nice one.
Good job. We can get there, sir. Nice.
No.
You want to go Nashor?
Can you?
Yeah, we can easily.
Caitlyn is up, Nate.
Guys, one time I was good. One time. I died for you guys.